Quadruple your money in 14 years. Holy smokes, Josh. Are you saying I can quadruple my money in 14 years? Yes, I am, amigos. Yes, I am. Easy, too, easy. Well, how do I do that, Josh? Buy this one stock. All right, so people forget, because I was just thinking about this today. There's a lot of cops going on the other side of the road. What's up with that? They got a funeral, maybe? I don't know. I don't think so. Not sure what's going on. Maybe they're coming after me because I'm so handsome. My pearly yellows. I just got pizza in Berlin, Maryland. Berlin, Maryland. Never been to Berlin, Maryland? The town is a nice place. It's like Captain Slice or something like that. Man, it was pretty good, man. I ain't gonna lie. It wasn't that expensive. I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. Or was it that expensive? I can't remember. Was it expensive or was it not that expensive? Dude, what are all these cops doing? All these cops on this side of the road. What is going on? Are they gonna be on my side of the road now? It's the third cop I saw on the other side of the road. Oh boy, they're coming after your old buddy Josh. But anyway, all right, so how do we quadruple our money in 14 years without buying an individual stock or buying options or friggin' gambling on the Baltimore Ravens or whatever? How do we do this? It's quite easy. Remember the rule of 72. The rule of 72 is you take the number 72, divide by your rate of return, and that shows you how long it takes to double your money. So we take the number 72, divide by 7, all right, 72 into 7 is going to be 10 years. It's going to take 10 years to double your money, all right? What if we take 72, divide by 8? It's going to take 9 years to double your money. What if we take 72, divide by 9? It's going to take 8 years to double your money. What if we take 72 and divide by what? 10. It's going to take 7 years to double your money. So I'm 54 right now. Let's just say for simplicity, I had 500,000 smackaroonies, just for simplicity. And I got a 10% rate of return without touching my money, without adding anything to it, just sitting there on 500,000 bucks, just sitting there. And I got a 10% rate of return. I would have not 1 million, but 2 million smackaroonies by the time I'm 68 if I got a 10% rate of return. And it matters not if you get a 10% rate of return every single year. It just matters that you have an average of 10% rate of return. That's where the issue about, I think a lot of people in the accumulation phase, or at least the let sit phase, they make a lot of mistakes. They say, oh man, you got to get a 10% rate of return each and every year. If you're just letting the money sit there, it doesn't matter what you get on each and every year. It just matters what you get in the average from point now to point then. That's it. So if I got a 10% rate of return on my money, in 14 years, I'd have 4 times what I started with, without adding anything to it. Now, why is that important? Well, historically, the nature of the S&P 500 is about 10% when you factor in dividends being reinvested, which is why you want to reinvest dividends. Now, does that mean it's going to happen again? Man, I have no clue. I don't use 10% in my portfolio analysis on Right Capital. I use 6 for 100% stock market return. I use 6. And I'm using a 17% standard deviation too. So not only am I using well below historic rates of return, but I'm using significant downside risk in terms of standard deviation. But remember, standard deviation is also upside as well. People always forget that. It's not just downside, it's upside. So the bigger the standard deviation, just the more spread you can have from an average rate of return, which means the more you can have on the upside, the more you can have on the downside. That's what a bigger standard deviation means. So it's like a CD. If you ever fired a firearm, a tight shot group. That means you're good. You have your rifle is zeroed very, very well, and you're gonna have a tight shot group. You're gonna be hitting the bullseye just like very, very tight right there. That's a low standard deviation. A high standard deviation is a wide shot group. You're hitting one time, you hit the bullseye. One time you hit the what we call the quacks for men. And one time you hit way over his head. Oh, there's a cop right there. I think. What's up speed? 55. All right. So anyway, that's a standard deviation. It's a wide shot. Whoa, slow down there, Speedy Gonzalez. A low standard deviation is just a tight shot group. In firearms rifling and zeroing in a firearm, you want a low standard deviation. But in investment, it depends on what you're trying to shoot for. So if I'm shooting to maximize my potential returns, I want a high standard deviation, because a high standard deviation means a high potential upside as well as a high potential downside too. That's the issue. But historically, again, the stock market has averaged 10. So is a 10% rate of return extraordinary? No, it's just not. Does that mean it'll happen? I don't know. I don't think so. So that's why I'm only giving a 6%. But if I got 10%, if I had $500,000 in 14 years, I'd have $2 million. So what if you're sitting there, you only got $100,000? All right, you're like, what if you're adding to $100 a month? You're like, that's not doing anything, dude. In 14, let's say you're, 45 years old. All right, you only got $100,000. You're like, man, I'm so far behind. I hear this all the time. And you're like, I'm 45 years old. By the time you're 59, without even adding anything to it, that $100,000 could be $400,000. And I don't know if you added $100 a month. I'm not sure what it'd be. You'd have to do a thing on that. But, dude, that's 400. We'll just say $500,000 just for simplicity. You'd be 59 years old with $500,000 just because you got a 10% standard rate of return and you added $100 a month. That's doable without taking extraordinary risk other than just being the S&P 500. That's how you do it. That's simple. But if you don't get 10%, what if you get less? I mean, you could. Again, I don't want to keep reiterating this, but you could. You could get more. Look at the last 15 years. In fact, the interesting thing is, if you look at our history of this decade, or not decade, this century, remember the first decade of this century, we had no rate of return, none. The second decade of this century had huge rates of return, 15% or something like that. So on average, though, we still had well below historic averages for the first 20 years of this century. The last 5 years, we had a bear market in 2022. Then we had 2 bouncing crazy years, which is awesome. But we're still well below historical numbers for the first 25 years of the century. Dude, why are you going 55? Like, these guys, why do people go in the left lane? They go, I'm just going the speed limit, Josh. Well, yeah, but there's a guy sitting right here. I'm like, dude, you see him? I don't know if y'all can see him. But just move over. Your old buddy Josh is coming up. Move over. Anyway, Berlin, Maryland is a pretty cool town. I liked it. All right, anyway, so we'll just try to get around this guy at some point, and maybe I'll be able to get to my destination before the sun goes down. All right, God bless. Love your thoughts. We'll see ya.